So we got this breaking bombshell that's coming out of Maricopa County. The GOP chair and lawyer Haider Kazim, he's withdrawing from the Anne Arundel County voter fraud case after fighting yesterday to stop it. Called for a ban of Dominion voting systems and hardware only 5 months ago. No idea why obviously this person's been reached at for monetarily, right, and been bribed. But the thing that's interesting is this Kazim individual, this Haider Kazim, is very much a part of the Grand Traverse Republican Party. The Grand Traverse Republican Party went out of their way to make sure that the election, all these security things were put into place post the election. So we've got all sorts of things they filed. We'll give some examples here. State of Michigan legislator pursuant, blah, blah, blah. It's invested with the authority of administrating. It's basically saying the Senate's got rights to do this. The Supreme Court of the United States ruled that whatever provision may be made by statute or by the state constitution to choose electors by the people, there is no doubt of the right of the state legislature to resume the power at any time, for it can neither be taken away nor abdicated. The Grand Traverse County Republican Committee, pursuant to the bylaws, are vested the obligation of campaigning, organizing, and fighting the Republican candidates and causes up and down the ticket. Confidence in the integrity of those we have helped elect are being called into question as we observe blatant election fraud being tolerated by those who appear to lack courage and resolve. They talked about getting rid of the voting machines. Again, insane that we should be doing audits. That's what this Grand Traverse County Republican Committee has been fighting for since November or October 2020. And now all of a sudden, one of these individuals that was on the board of that group, one of the lawyers involved in this case, was trying to withdraw their right to audit. Well, he's now withdrawn himself because all of this is coming out. People are seeing the truth and they can't hide behind it anymore. Another great example. I'm going to go ahead and pronounce this guy's last name like he is Italian because he kind of looks Italian to me. Maybe he's not. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Long story short, this guy got put into office. There's Soros money involved. The fact that he's saying that the routers can't be given because they've got some secret police information on there. Essentially, the county board went to him to try to get somebody to make up an excuse for why the auditors couldn't see the routers. Problem is, it's heavily backfiring, one, against him because it makes it look like they gave a foreign company, a third party, access to all these things that you won't even let an auditor have, an auditor that you can make sign non-disclosure agreements and anything else under the sun. So it's okay to let who knows have access to it, but we can't let the auditors have access to it. And the reason is the secrets may get out. Well, come to find out, he's being paid by Soros people. Now all of a sudden, there's this weird triangle that's being formed. And this guy is being called out, chucked under the bus, whatever you want to call it. It's happening, and it's happening quickly. Also, just breaking that's coming out. And this is something we need to listen to big time as well. Antonio Mujica, I think is how you pronounce that, the Smartmatic CEO, talking about how fraud happens in their software. Check it out.
Hi everybody, thank you very much for being here. I'd like to introduce you to Antonio Mujica.
Smartmatic has provided election technology and support services in Venezuela since 2004. Even in moments of deep political conflict and division, we have been satisfied that the voting process and the count has been completely accurate. It is therefore with the deepest regret that we have to report that the turnout numbers on Sunday, 30th of July for the Constituent Assembly in Venezuela were tampered with. Based on the robustness of our system, we know without any doubt that the turnout of the recent election for a National Constituent Assembly was manipulated. It is important to highlight that similar manipulations are made in manual elections in many countries, but they go undetected because of a lack of electronic security and auditing safeguards. So what happened? why can we stand by the results of previous Venezuelan elections, but we cannot endorse the elections held last Sunday? Our automated election system is designed to make it evident when results are manipulated. However, there must be people auditing the system and watching for that evidence. During the National Constituent Assembly elections, there were no auditors from the opposition parties, as they did not want to participate. An audit would allow everyone to know the exact participation. We estimate the difference between the actual participation and the one announced by the authorities is at least 1 million votes.
At least 1 million votes of participation that they were wrong about. This is the CEO admitting it. This is the CEO of Smartmatic. Now, I can't wait to see when Smartmatic and Dominion and all these guys go into court against like Mike Lindell and all these other people, right? They go into court and they're like, we have the safest, securest election ever. And then all I got to do is just play this AP news article, and it's like the dude admitting, what are you talking about here? Sounds like these things are able to be messed with, or shenanigans, as so many of us like to refer to. So we got a really important little message that was shared with us here from a Kenakoa? I don't know. Do you understand why the Arizona audit is so important? Pro, V&V, and SLI compliance. The two companies certifying election equipment for the entire country are glorified shell companies long affiliated with and recommended by the voting machine companies they are said to be monitoring. The fox guarding the henhouse. These companies run rudimentary logic and accuracy tests before and after elections, which make sure the machines are working at the moment they are being tested without auditing the history of the machines or what happened during the election. This includes a cursory confirmation that the current software or firmware is the one certified for use by the Secretary of State. These are so-called audits of the election equipment, widely cited by the Secretaries of State, election officials, and media organizations. Compare that to the Maricopa audit, which is a full forensic audit of the election management system, EMS, EMS clients, EMS servers, precinct tabulators, adjudication machines, ballot images, all storage media, audit logs, 2.1 million paper ballots, voter registration files, canvassing research, and other stuff. There are members from both parties and independents observing. Everything is being recorded by multiple cameras above each table, and 9 wide-angle feeds are being live-streamed 24/7. And it's all being done by independent experts rather than the same two companies long affiliated with the voting machine companies they are supposed to be auditing. The Arizona audit is the most transparent, in-depth election audit that has ever been done. That's why they're so scared. Billions and trillions of dollars, not to mention all the power of the deep state, is at stake right now. They are running on empty. They've got nowhere to go. Maricopa County Audit is talking about what Katie Hobbs has been up to, and basically everything she is saying is right now is designed to deflect and distract from the fact that Maricopa County never had the passwords to set up its own election. Who has those passwords? Now, it's kind of funny, and I don't know if this was a Code Monkey. This kind of has that feel to it, but I don't know where it came from. I have the admin passwords. It's null. Leave empty and press enter. RCMZ figured that out a long time ago, and I think this is probably one of the people that either hacked these machines or were very easily able to get into them. And believe it or not, sometimes the admin password is literally blank. And sometimes people set one so it requires you just enter through it. You don't actually type anything in, or null, which is nothing. You can't really define what null is, but ultimately it means nothing. Nothing's been put in. There's not even a blank. There's not a dot. There's nothing. It's just empty.